Welcome to Sacred Success, the alchemy of spiritual business, where Michelle Barr talks to conscious entrepreneurs and spiritual seekers about creating a better life and a better business now. Building your own business is the most intensive personal and spiritual growth and development course you could ever enroll in. And that's why Michelle does the work she does for you. We're glad you're here with Michelle Barr on the OMTimes Radio Network.
To have you today. This is Michelle Barr. I am your sacred business success coach. I'm an intuitive strategist and a mindset mentor. And I'm really excited to talk to you today. I have to let you know right up front that I am pulling out my soapbox today and I'm getting on top of it. This is a soapbox issue, and there's a great story around it. And I have a lot of stories to share and things that came up around this. This has really been a journey for me. I started a movement called Shameless Spiritual Business Building. And I was not looking to start this movement, and I was not planning on starting this movement. And yet it has emerged and it has become huge in my community and my tribe. And I see it in the larger community. It's a very polarizing topic. And I thought, what a great place to bring it here to OMTimes Radio Network, to my show, Sacred Business Success, and to get you all thinking about it and seeing where you stand on it. Because the minute you set out to create your own sacred business success, to build your own on-purpose business and live your on-purpose life, this is going to come up. It does over and over again, and I hear from people all the time. You know how you're just going along and you're doing your work. I had a plan for my work, and I had a plan for what I was rolling out that summer 2 years ago, really knew where I was going. And it was not about spirituality and money. My work is always about spirituality, but it was not about spirituality and money. It was not about shameless spiritual business building at all. And yet some of that is in my story. And that is how our work finds us. It comes bubbling up out of our own powerful story to a place where we just feel like we have to take a stand, where we have to just put a stake in the ground about something. So it wasn't my work. And all summer long, it became my work, and it grew and grew and grew. On my blog over at michellebarr.com, I write about it all the time. I answer questions on Facebook. I talk to people every day about this. My world is full of helpers and healers with big open hearts who just feel this life calling and this nudging to do their work in the world. And then they bump up against all these issues. And my story is, first, I just spent years giving myself away all over the place while working jobs I didn't love and being stuck in them. And then I would be exhausted, and then I would end up broke from all the helping and healing I was trying to do on the side, but I wasn't running it as a business, and I wasn't saying I'm running it as a business. I would go into workplaces and I would end up doing my real work, and I had friends who'd come around and people who would call, and I would volunteer. I had all different ways I was doing my work in the world. But this is a common story. I would get run down. I would exhaust all my resources. I would be tired from all this work I was doing to pay my bills and what I thought I needed to be doing, because I had a belief I could not make money with these gifts. And it's perpetuated everywhere in society, but also in our own spiritual community. And this is the part that breaks my heart. And I've had to go up against my own community with this. I received a lot of backlash with my message, but I've also helped a lot of people free themselves from these old perpetuating poverty consciousness myths that keep being put out there. Finally, I came to that crossroads where I decided I am no longer going to do what I don't love. And I want to do this and only this. And that's what I do now. I only do my work in the world all the time. At first, when I came to that crossroads and I decided I'm going to be in business, I'm going to do this as a business, things start to shift. And this is when people show up in my world now looking for a mentor, a coach, a teacher, and a guide. Because what happens is you suddenly have to start looking at things differently. You suddenly have to start making some different decisions and business decisions that you weren't making before. And for a lot of us, those are uncomfortable. We don't want to deal with them. We don't want to be in that space. So I kept going. I started my business, but I didn't fully step in and be responsible for it and start running it like a business. And so I ended up with a very expensive hobby, which is another thing. A lot of people come to me and become my clients when they find themselves in this place. So here I was with this very expensive hobby. And again, it was taking my energy. I was pulling money out of my own pocket to feed this business to help the community. And the community was loving it. But I wasn't supporting me. My highest good was not being addressed. And I know now that if the highest good of all does not include you, it's not the highest good of all. You have to include yourself, and so many of us don't. I've learned a lot since making that decision that my business was a business. And so I ask you to come to that place first before you go any further, and save yourself some heartache and decide. If you say, I'm going to go work this job, it gives me a lot of security, it brings me some joy, it's good enough for now, then do it consciously and know it. But do not sit at a job day after day after day, every day, and say, when can I leave this job? This job is killing me. Do you hear what you're saying to the universe? And whatever you say is. I help a lot of people come out of jobs they don't love. You have to shift the energy in order to do that and let the universe support you in that. So consciously make the decision and then support yourself 100%. That's one of my biggest tips in everything I teach. Do everything consciously, make every decision consciously, recognize you have a choice point in every moment, and every choice you make either moves you toward or away from what you want. That's one of my 9 universal guiding principles. And I have a poster for you at 9universalguidingprinciples.com, whether you spell 9 out or whether you use the number 9, 9universalguidingprinciples.com. So you can go and get that. It's a downloadable poster, and it'll give you a context when you are listening to my shows and when you come into my community for what I use. Those principles guide my life and they guide my work. So that's a free gift. You can get that downloadable report there. Coming to that crossroads and making that decision, I'm going to do this as volunteer work, I'm going to do this as a hobby. Great. Even if you want to run an expensive hobby, do it consciously. I know people who run a metaphysical store as a hobby, or they do this spiritual work on the side as a hobby, or they start their own church or their own wellness center. Decide. Once you decide it's a business, these are these things you're going to bump up against. And I am here to create more shameless spiritual business building. And I want to kind of take you with me through these ideas and through this movement today, and have you look at where you stand and how you feel. Maybe you've been unconsciously aware of it. Maybe you have been aware of it. Maybe you've bumped up against it yourself lately. And so I invite you into a dialogue with me, and I invite you to come and find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Michelle B. Barr and talk to me about this. And Mike, we're talking about this stuff every day. It's really important. And once my clients start building their businesses, all their old stuff comes up. Shameless business building. It's not something I thought I would have to name and certainly not talk about in this way, but apparently I do. I've been called to it. It connects into my powerful story. And I bumped up against it and I said I'd had enough. And it's those things that keep you up at night where I see people struggling with this and they don't need to. And I've walked that path and I've been on that journey. And I feel like I can help people see their way through this if they want to, if they choose to. I started talking about it that summer after I had had a bad experience with being shamed for what I am doing in the world. And here's the hardest part for me. It came from other spiritual people. Yeah, can you believe it? I have a little image that I like to put on Facebook, and I've used it in my blog, and it's a little meme, and it says, when people undermine your dreams, predict your doom, or criticize you, remember, they're telling you their story, not yours. That's powerful. I want to tell you what I started seeing showing up all the time. And I want to help you to see when other people start telling you it can't be done, you can't do it, you can't make money at this, all of those things, that's their story, not yours. And my whole life changed once I decided to go out and find my own evidence that what I was being called to do was possible. And I will be right back on OMTimes Radio Network with more in a minute.
Bringing a more conscious lifestyle to your world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Radio Namaste leads you down the yellow brick road into portals of consciousness with the blue collar goddess as your host. Interviews with humans who could be famous or just popular, and answers to everything are on the agenda. Tune into OMTimes Radio and drop in on Thursdays at 3 Eastern. It's a different brand of enlightenment.
What if business could be fun? What if business is the adventure of living? What are you choosing? Where do you do business that makes it easier, more fun, or more joyful for you? We'd love to see where you do business. Connect with us on Instagram at Joy of Business or Twitter at Joy of Business. And share your pictures with hashtags BusinessDoneWhere and Joy of Business. Let's change the world with business.
Hi, I'm Katrina Kavanagh, host of the I Am Wisdom radio show. I Am Wisdom is about the connection between mind work and energy work, spirituality, and living a wonderful life. Looking forward to sharing each Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with you.
The cutting edge of conscious radio. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Hello, welcome back. This is Michelle Barr, your host for Sacred Business Success Radio. We're not at a rodeo today, radio on OMTimes Radio Network. Hey, I'm from Texas. So thank you for coming back and joining me. You know, I think about it, and I know that I was in my little bubble, and I was in my little spiritual bubble, and I was communing and kumbayaing with my spiritual community, and it was all fun and games, and it was all love and talking about and visioning about all these things we were going to do in the world as soon as we need and the universe supported us. Then I bumped up against all this that I'm talking to you about. And it was sad for me because then I started seeing, wow, this is really everywhere. When I started getting that backlash, the minute you step out and you make it not true what those people are telling you about what's not possible and what can't be done and what you can't do and what you shouldn't do. But I believe it's a universal principle that when there is a desire in your heart, a way has already been made. And so I said, I'm going to leave my community for a while, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to find people who are doing what I feel called to do because I trust spirit at this point in my life. And I went out and I did. And when I came back to my community, my intention in making that journey, when I told them that was, and I'm going to find it and I'm going to bring it back to you so you can have it too. And we are idealists, aren't we? And we are romantics. When I actually brought it back, I was more unsupported that I was actually doing it. And I got a lot of flack about it. And it made me sad because then I started realizing, wow, other people are going through this too. No wonder they're not stepping out and doing what we are feeling called to do. It's scary. Hate mail is scary. Yet now I know my coaches tell me it means I'm doing something right because the more I grew and the more that I created the polarizing effect, nobody is neutral on this issue. People have very strong opinions. They were either for or against my side of it and what I was saying. And I'm just trying to open people's eyes and making people aware, and then you choose where you stand on it. We already have this big, wide world out there, not always on board with who we are and what we do. But this was even worse to me, a sense of my own turning against me. And here's what puzzled me the most. These are people who say they believe in an infinite and abundant universe. And so many of them are not living it. I was seeing broke, exhausted, tired, even homeless helpers and healers everywhere around me. Once I opened my local healing and wellness center and I really got tapped into the community, I saw people with astounding gifts, broke and sick and broken and beat down and burned out. And that just wasn't sitting well with me. And these people that are all about love and peace and all that good stuff, what I found was bring money and business into it, and some people just go plain crazy. I'm telling you, as more and more people like myself and like you make a conscious choice to integrate our life and our work and to turn our life's calling into a business so we can express all of ourselves, use our gifts in the world, and live the life we want to live, more and more other people are creating backlash against it. That all started showing up in my face. And then I knew I have to talk about this, as painful, as scary as it is. First, one of my mentors experienced some serious hate mail and started talking about it on Facebook. And she's very clear about who she is and what she's doing. And she has created a lot of success and stability already. So although she was shaken and wanted to bring it up and talk about it, she wasn't stopped by it. The next night, one of my friends and colleagues took a bold step with her business and was so excited to share it on Facebook. And she got a nasty, mean-spirited reply that was totally unnecessary. It was public on her business page, and it was from someone who labeled themselves as a spiritual life coach, interfaith minister, and metaphysician. For real. She's been in business for a while and she knows how to get support when she needs it. And she reached out. We talked through it. She did some extreme self-care afterwards, took a healing bath, reminded herself of her worth and value and her why, and she was good to go. Then the next day, I got an email from a client in my spiritual business school who said he was quitting it all. His heart was broken. He was so new to all this. And so, as he jumped out into the world with his big, bold dreams and intentions, he was met with less than the support he expected from his community. And now he has found himself trapped in the crabs in a bucket I talk about in the entrepreneurial hero's journey. And I want to tell you that story because every time I tell it, it has such an impact. And the first time one of my coaches and mentors told me, wow, boom, it landed. And I totally got it. Did you know if you put a bunch of crabs in a bucket, you don't have to put a lid on it? They will all stay in the bucket. Because if one crab tries to climb out of the bucket, the other crabs climb on top of him and push him back down. But if you put one crab in a bucket all by himself, he will climb up the side, peek over the lid, and climb out. Yeah. I wish I could convey to that client how much I got where he was right then. I was there when I made the big, bold move to taking my local business online and global and discovered how to make it work so I could do this and only this as my work in my life. People in my spiritual community did not like it. I got a lot of backlash. Who was I to charge that much? Who did I think I was? Did I think I was too good to work out of a back room in a rented building for my $1 a minute? It was brutal and it blindsided me. I stepped out and was facing forward, ready to fight off any naysayers from those people out in the world who don't always get what we do and who we are. And some of them really don't like it. What I never expected was my own community who had been right there with me in the trenches, living and telling the story of this is hard. People aren't able to make this work. People can't make money doing this. Nobody will pay for this. You can do this, but you can't make a living at it. Do all of those sound familiar to you? Yeah. To turn against me, those people, when I actually found a way to make it work and make it happen, and I wanted to share it with them. I climbed out of the bucket and I found mentors, teachers, and coaches who were doing what I felt called to do. They were being it and living it, and they were willing to show me the way. That summer changed some things in my life and in my business. I had to make a decision. It was scary and it was uncomfortable and it was even inconvenient because it's not what I had planned. But I created this movement, Shameless Spiritual Business Building. I also created Climb Out of the Crab Bucket because I love that story so much. What I did soon after that was I did a call for my community. And I have that for you because if this is calling to you and speaking to you right now, I don't want to just dive deep into your stuff and just take you down in there. I want to give you something more than that. And I have this for you as a free gift. You can access it now. You can listen to it online or download it to go. And I get into all this stuff. And at the end, I don't just leave you hanging. I take you through a clearing and healing process to deal with all the junk that's getting stirred up and to help you move out of it. And you can find it at discoveryourextraordinary.com. Discoveryourextraordinary.com. You can also find it at Shameless Spiritual Business Building OMTimes.com. It is going to help you shift your shame, break through your pain, and stake your true claim. Because I want you to come with the clear mindset and the clear energy how to build the spiritual business of your dreams, because that part of it, if you make a decision to do it, is challenging enough as it is without all this. Who are you showing up as? The crab in the bucket, shaming others who go for their greatness while hiding behind your own spirituality? Or do you have someone like that in your life? Or are you, or do you want to be one of the crabs who has climbed out of the bucket and is finding your way through this entrepreneurial hero's journey? I wanted to do this show today because I'm here to tell you we're out here. There are others of us. We celebrate your greatness. We are showing you the way. We are giving a hand up instead of a push down. Keep going, keep swimming. And we are getting bigger and bolder every day. We're staking our claim to create a spiritual business that supports and sustains the life we want to live, providing us with the spiritual freedom and the financial freedom we desire. And we're no longer ashamed of it, and other people can't shame us. I want you to really let that land. I want you to think about that for a minute. This is a big topic. And for some of you, you're really going to be hearing it today. I believe if you showed up on this show to listen or downloaded it, whenever you are listening to this, you are ready for this message. It can be raw and it can be real, and it's right on time for you. Think about this. And I'm going to tell you some more stories and some more to get you really thinking about this and how it's playing out in your life or not. We will be right back on OMTimes Radio Network.
Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
The Conscious Parenting Radio Show provides inspiration and resources for loving, empowering, and respecting your children and yourself. Join me, Timothy, every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time as we consciously explore proven ways of living together in happiness, health, and harmony.
Are you trying to get from point A to point B and need a little advice? Connect with the counselors at OMTimes Advisors. Whether you're looking for a life coach or a spiritual intuitive, the advisors participating at advisors.omtimes.com were carefully chosen based on their gifts, skills, and professionalism. OMTimes Advisors, connecting you with the best advisors in the business.
Hi, this is Angela Levesque, host of Entanglement Radio. Join me Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern for inspiring conversations with visionaries in spiritual science and conscious healing. Entanglement Radio, Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern. Transcendent talk for the conscious mind.
The future of internet radio is here. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Hello, this is Michelle Barr, your Sacred Business Success Coach. Welcome back. I hope I've got some juices stirring in you and you're thinking about some things, and some of you are really seeing why this is showing up in your life right now as an answer, as a possible answer to what you've been asking for, or you knew something was going on that you needed to pay attention to. It's kind of how it showed up in my world, and then it grabbed a hold of me. I want to take you now into a different energy, and I have this great visualization and story that helps people see the way things work and what's meant to be when we're all operating in our greatness at our highest good and when we're including our highest good. I want you to come with me to the banks of a river, a beautiful river. Everything's green right around the river, and you see all these people in the river. And they're knee deep in the river. They got their pants rolled up, they're in there, they got their shirt sleeves rolled up. And you see people reaching toward each other, and they've got both hands because we give out with our right hand and we receive in with our left hand. We have both of those operating in our bodies. You see it in nature, you see it in our bodies. It is science based now. I don't always need science to prove things that I believe or know are true, but it's really cool and fun when they do. We have both of those energies operating, and we are meant to be giving and receiving constantly, like the flow of the infinity symbol. There are a lot of people, and you can recognize them in your world, who are overgivers, and you may be one. Overgiving, giving, 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 and have really shut off that receiving and allowing when it's an infinite flow and it's an ongoing system. And there are other people who are constantly taking, and they're going to give as soon as they have taken enough, but they never get enough. They never believe they have enough. They're living never enough. Think about that. In the river, you're seeing people and they all look healthy. They're well fed. They're well taken care of. They're happy. They have smiles on their face, and they're reaching out that right hand and touching other people, and they're reaching out that left hand and they're taking in. They're giving and receiving. And now on the riverbank stands a person looking sick, looking beat down, looking burnt out, falling out from the side of the river. Hey, I need some help. Hey, can you help me? I'm over here and I can't get in the river for this reason, and this reason. I have nothing to give right now. But if you all could all turn around toward me and give me, each of you, what you have, once I get enough, then I'll step in the river and I'll start giving. I saw this come to me in a meditation, and it played out, and I saw it, and I saw people in my world. I had opened my healing and wellness center, and I started seeing faces of those people, and that's what they were doing. They were standing on the banks of the river, and they had gifts. Some of them had more amazing gifts than anybody out there charging for them. And they had a belief: I will not and cannot step out and do anything until I have everything I need. And they kept telling that story. So what I say is. So the universe had to keep playing out that story. And they were never filled. They never got enough. If they had stepped into the river with what they had and offered it and asked for something in return, an even energetic exchange, they would have started being blessed. I can tell you from where and on both sides of that, and I absolutely, without a doubt now, that once you step out, you always have to take the first step. Everything you need will be provided. And last year, I took the experiment further because I turned my life into an experiment. And I will never tell you to do anything that I'm not willing to do and that I've not already done and that I don't know the results. And so last year, I took it further and I said, I'm feeling strong enough right now. I'm going to amp it up. I am going to give like crazy, and I'm going to open my receiving and expect to receive more. And I had the biggest year in my life and business than I'd ever had, in the way of clients, in the way of income, in the way of gifts, in the way of unexpected money. in the way of all kinds of blessings and graces. So I know it works. You've got to be standing in the river engaging. Think about that person I told you standing on the edge. They're shouting out. They're the one begging. They're showing up. They're always asking for the scholarship. They're saying right away, I can't pay. Can you make an exception for me? I was teaching $5 and $10 classes on Meetup, and these people who had gifts that other people would have paid them well for were begging and keeping themselves in that poverty consciousness. It was so hard to watch. So again, I kept seeing this, and I stepped up again. And I started talking about money more and talking about it right up front. And guess what? It triggered some people. It triggered some people a lot. Excuse me. In fact, I started talking about it and I wrote a blog about it, and I found a fun picture of this guy jumping up in the air doing the splits carefree, and it said, haters gonna hate. At some point, you just have to kind of call it out. There's something you feel called to get up on a soapbox and talk about. And if you're afraid of backlash and hate mail and things like that, and it stops you, when you actually step out and do it, your life is so blessed. It's what you're here for. If you are out there or have ever gone out there with yourself, your work, and your message, and you have not created any polarity, then it's not effective. You need to find a deeper message, dig deeper. If it's going to touch some, it's going to trigger others. And that's what happened. People, on one hand, with all the hate mail and the backlash and the being triggered, and I talked back to them. I dialogued with them. I used everything as learning and growing for me, for them, and my whole community. They're being triggered for a reason. Because you want to understand there's a big difference if somebody reads what I do or what I believe and they go, oh no, I don't like that. Oh no, that wouldn't work for me. Oh, I don't, that's not for me. Great. Every day we make decisions. I don't want to eat that. I don't want to drive that. I don't want to wear that. I don't want to be with that person. I don't want to go to that event. I don't want to listen to that music. So there are people who look at what I'm about and they go, oh no, that, I don't want that. That's not for me. It's when people take the time and energy to write diatribes on my page, on my blog, to argue with me, to go on and on about it, to start calling me names when they don't know me, to start wishing things about me. They're being triggered, and I'm holding up the mirror and they're deflecting and they're projecting, wanting me to stop so they don't have to look at it. And I know by now that I'm a catalyst. It still gets really uncomfortable when what I put out there starts flying back at me. I get unfriended sometimes. I got unfriended recently after a very heated debate by a Facebook friend who had been connected to me for over 3 years. For 3 years, she's been loving me, liking me. This triggered her. She would not let go and walk away, though. She wanted to argue for her limitations. And she told me she's waiting until money no longer exists and all our needs are met by spirit. Well, one, that's already going on somewhere else, but you've chosen to be here. And if you were really meant to be in that, you would be over there in it. You're here. The earth is polarizing. It provides contrast for a reason. I even told her. She told me, that day is coming. And I told her, yes, I know, but it's not here right now. And you are. I can't tell you by now how many people have told me they hate money and they can't wait for the day it no longer exists. The problem is money is just energy. And if it wasn't paper and coins, you will still play out the same stuff you're playing out now, whatever that is. I have a mentor who says the way you do money is the way you do everything. And it's so true. It's all really about the receiving and allowing and putting your value out into the world. You have the opportunity to have one of the greatest spiritual transformations of your life by dealing with and healing your issues with money. And I can only stand here and say this because I have had to do a lot of healing my issues with money. At one time when I first started building my business and I against all of this and I couldn't get any further and I couldn't make money, it was all my inner game, my inner stuff. I hired a private coach for 6 months to work intensely and intensively with me to heal that. And I had to really peel away, dive deep, and look at my stuff. I show up week after week and month after month, challenging my clients to step up into their greatness, to answer what's calling them, to do what they are made to do, and to live a great life at the same time. So, guess what? I have to continue to do the same thing. I still bump up against my own stuff. I help a lot of people build their businesses and in doing so, build the life they want to live. And this always comes up. People working in jobs they don't love, people feeling like they have to go back to work they don't love. I see it all the time. I had a client who had gone back to work after her business wasn't supporting and sustaining her. Then she started doing the work so she could make money, good, solid money. 90 days later, she reduced her work schedule by over half and is already planning for the day very soon when she leaves the job for good. People are doing it. Don't let limiting beliefs knock you down. We will be right back to talk more about this. This is Michelle Barr. See you in a minute.
A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
The Laying On of Hands Healing Radio Show is about treating the whole person, mind, body, and spirit. Join me, Charles Smith, as I share life-balancing measures such as nutrition and spiritual practices to help you take charge of your own health and wellness every Thursday at 7 p.m. on OMTimes Radio.
The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
Know what to do, just can't figure out how to fit it all into your busy life? It doesn't have to be that way. Hi, I'm Ellen Baisberg from Seamless Life. Join me every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio and learn the how of conscious living. Let me and my guests help make your life seamless.
The best of the holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Hello, welcome back. This is Michelle Barr with Sacred Business Success, and we are talking today on OMTimes Radio Network about shameless spiritual business building. Stay with me. This could be triggering you as we're talking about it. I'm not judging wherever you stand on this right now. If you're not neutral, whatever it's bringing up in you is important. This is big work. Here's the thing. If you're building a business, it's about money. It's not the main motivator for many of my clients. Most, if not all of my clients, it wasn't the main motivator. When I got into it, I didn't even start out necessarily thinking, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. So I'm going to start a business. Should I open a Subway franchise? Should I go online and sell widgets? Should I open a store and sell shoes? What should I do? When I opened my first healing and wellness center, it was to reach out to a community with who I am and what I know and what I have and help people. Once I decided to build a business, it's about money. If not, it's not a business. If you are building a business and you're conflicted about this, you're probably not making any money or not making enough. How do I know this? Because I've done both. I fooled myself for a long time into thinking I was running a business until I finally had to admit, what I created for myself was a very expensive hobby, and I had to close the doors on it after 18 months. And when I looked at the aftermath, I had run my family's finances into the ground, not provided for my own needs. I still had children at home. And now I couldn't do my work in the world either. And that really sucked. Why else would you endure the time, energy, and resources it takes to build a business in the first place? Not to mention the mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual effort that's expended. It's an amazing journey and also the most intensive personal and spiritual growth and development program you will ever enroll in. The whole reason I started building my business was to express who I truly am and to create a life of freedom, purpose, and soul level satisfaction. You create your business to support and sustain the life you want to live. So that includes your business making money, whether your needs and wants are big or simple. Running your own business takes money. Up leveling your business takes money. I know I did that again last year. Why is it that this is a well-known fact until we start talking about spiritual businesses where people are using their spiritual gifts? It still perplexes me. We are the only industry that does not take something out into the marketplace, your God-given, spirit-given gifts, and create an income from them while you're serving people. It amazes me and it keeps me up at night and it triggers me. That's why I know I still have work to do around this and I have to open my mouth about it. What drives a lot of us spiritual helpers and healers is the desire to make the world a better place to live in. That is what initially has always driven me. We are called to use the gifts we are given. We feel other people and we know we can do something that helps them. What I'm sharing with you now is that after 2 decades of working nonprofits to serve others, making way under 50,000 a year, most of the time under 30,000 a year with a master's degree and extensive training and certification, I wasn't able to live the life I wanted to live, much less take care of myself and my family. A life that supports me and sustains me in my spiritual journey and in my physical journey. Then I went out into my community and I tried to run a service for everyone else without also serving my highest good, and it didn't work for anyone. And I'm done with that. It didn't serve me. It didn't serve my family, and it really didn't serve the people I was trying to serve. How could it? What a horrible role model. I know lots of people right now, lots of them, who have beautiful gifts to give others and a beautiful spirit and energy to share, and they aren't doing it, or they're doing it every now and then, every here there when they can until they can't anymore. They're touching people a little at a time when they can squeeze it in around jobs they don't love and being exhausted from jobs they don't love, plus the worry and fear and struggle that comes with living without enough and the energy drain of not living in your purpose and your truth. That's a big one. Think about it. They could be touching hundreds and even thousands. How do I know this? Because when I got done with what wasn't working for me or anybody else, I went out, like I told you, and I found the people who are building spiritual businesses using their gifts and touching hundreds and thousands of lives every year, day in and day out. And guess what? They take care of themselves, which allows them to be of even greater service. I started learning from them and I started doing the same thing, and it has changed everything. In the beginning of my journey, I had to heal my money crap. And I had a lot of it, and a lot of spiritual people have it, and it gets in the way. We are the first and loudest people to proclaim that we believe in an abundant universe. But the proof is in the actual experience. Okay, you believe it. Are you living it? We're here living a physical experience as our spiritual journey. You're still here. What do you choose? When clients come to me, they talk about money. That is their pain. So again, this really drove me to get out there in the world and talk about this. As much as it's not the greatest motivator, it's not their highest value, almost every single person that showed up on a phone call or emailed or messaged me told me in a very painful way the reason they were not doing their work in the world and doing what they desired to do, what they love to do, what they're great at, and what they're called to do is because of money. And they talk about money. And then they start feeling ashamed because they're talking about money, even though they're talking about business. I had a woman show up, and this happens all the time to me. And she said right off the bat, like she had to clear it with me, like she was already feeling guilty. Listen, I want to hire you as my coach, and I want to let you know I don't want to make a lot of money or a bunch of money. And I really only want to make enough money, just enough money to get by, to pay my bills. But I don't want to make too much money. I don't want to be selfish. And right away I said, I would love to have you as my client, but that is the first thing that we're going to get past. Because really, these clients know this is their pain. They talk about money. They want to make money doing what they love. They're afraid to dream or dare. It could even happen. Many people share this desire. So, why are you all out there on one hand desiring such a thing, and on the other hand, shaming and shouting out against those who openly express this desire? It's time to talk about the money. It's time to heal the money crap personally and across our communities and our cultures. I told you this is my soapbox, and I told you at the beginning, I got up on it. Stay with me. My passion is for money to be in the hands of heart-centered, loving, compassionate, helping, healing people. They are the ones, we are the ones who are going to make a real difference in the world. It takes standing up, getting real, challenging what you think and believe, taking honest inventory of what you have been doing and how you have been living, and then to make a new decision, a new choice, and a new commitment. If you want to, if you're ready to, or not. I'm willing to stay uncomfortable with the help of my support systems to hold this energetic stance of including money in the conversation and helping those who show up to do the work to make it and make their lives better. I hope I've really given you some powerful food for thought, and we can continue. I want you to go and listen to this free call I have for you and go through the energy clearing and healing. It's a great start. And then come talk to me. Let's talk about this some more. You will find that free call at discoveryourextraordinary.com and also at shamelessspiritualbusinessbuilding.com. And then come and find me at michellebarr.com and come and find me on Facebook. I'd love to hear more from you. I really want you to be thinking of this and how this is playing out in your life. This is a game changer. This is a world changer and a life changer. I honor your journey, however you choose to experience that. And I want you to know it. And so I hope you'll honor mine as well. Even when you don't agree with it, I'm always open for open dialogue. I talk about things that are important on this show. And that's what makes this all so incredible. We each get to say what is, and so it is for us. And I will see you again soon on Sacred Business Success. This is Michelle Barr. Talk to you later.